In this video, we're gonna be taking a look at the Packable Setout Daypack from Tortuga. This little guy pairs well with the regular size Setout bag, which is a full one bag travel size bag. Basically, you pack this thing into that larger bag, pull it out when you just need it for basically a day pack when you're traveling. I'm Tom, the founder of Pack Hacker, and we share our travel tips and tricks. We do guides and reviews just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's jump right into the Setout Daypack review from Tortuga. Design-wise, this is basically a scaled down version of the regular size Setout from Tortuga. It pairs very nicely in its aesthetics and its function. This thing weighs 8.5 ounces, which is less than the contents of a can of soda. Definitely not gonna cut into your weight that much. The exterior of this pack is a slick black 30D nylon ripstop. We think it comes together really well. You have this black on black branding going on. Comes together for a good aesthetic overall. And the back panel and the straps are gonna be made with this air mesh material. Again, we think they did a really great job tying together the entire aesthetic of this packable daypack. There are two water bottle pockets on this thing on each side. This is gonna be pretty good if you want to, just have two water bottles and not store any additional water inside that main compartment of the pack. The handle at the top here is pretty much no frills, good for quick grabs or hanging up the pack. With this air mesh, these straps are slightly padded, which is pretty great for a packable day pack like this. We don't often see additional padding here due to these being so compressible. In addition to that, these straps here and the buckles, everything going on is pretty beefy, and we like that. It feels like an actual backpack. If you wanna see something with miniaturized functions like this, go check out the Compressible Matador Daylight 16 backpack, which we did a review on. Everything is kind of miniaturized here. It definitely has a different feel, but when you're wearing this with these bigger buckles and everything going on, definitely feels like a solid regular pack. The mesh straps are adjustable, and there's also an elastic keeper here that's gonna be good for getting rid of that excess strap. That same mechanism is gonna function on the sternum strap as well. One thing with the sternum strap that we noticed though is that they ended up putting this buckle on backwards. So the Tortuga logo is actually facing inwards instead of outwards, and that's definitely a production issue. I know that Tortuga, a lot of the times when they send us one of their packs, it comes from the sample room, so maybe it was an issue just with putting it together there. Hopefully this doesn't make to production. That's easy to forgive. It's just a basic logo. The other side, you just see some Duraflex stuff. But the one issue that we're seeing with this sternum strap is that it doesn't appear to be correctly anchored to these mesh straps. So basically, when you get the sternum strap on, you tighten it up. It kind of creates some bunching in those mesh straps, and there's some overall variance in how this hangs out on your chest. So if you're a person that likes to really cinch down that chest strap, you're definitely gonna run into this issue. If you like to keep it a little bit looser, or you like to forego using a sternum strap for the most part, it's probably not gonna be that big of a deal for you. To wrap up the external components, Tortuga has a slight frame sheet in here. And what I mean by frame sheet, it's not really a sheet, but it's more of this nicely padded mesh on the back. And again, we think that is a huge bonus. A lot of packable day packs don't offer hardly any padding in the back, and it's nice that Tortuga has included that without much sacrifice to weight or size. It's not gonna protect you from everything, and we'd still recommend putting some padded packing cubes in here, which we'll get into in a little bit more detail in the next section of this video. But overall, it's gonna help a little bit, provide some of that extra comfort. And if there is anything, a corner of some piece of gear or a pouch kind of sticking into your back, it's gonna be cushioned a little bit by this slight kind of padded back that Tortuga has included here. Let's move into some of the internal components of the pack. So if we flip it around here to the front, unzip that little front panel, you can see here that there's actually a very kind of large YKK zipper here. And again, Tortuga is kind of going crazy with the durability of this stuff, which I'm personally a big fan of. They definitely didn't slouch on little tiny mini zippers that you can see in other packable day packs. This front pouch as well is just about the perfect size for any quick grab items. Again, you can just toss some stuff in there, and again, That subtle branding. Look at that, the Tortuga logo right there. If you open up the main compartment of this pack, you'll basically be greeted with a giant compartment. And again, these are number 5 YKK zippers, which is pretty great for a packable day pack. Definitely adds to some of that durability. Now, with these packable day packs, this is no fault of Tortuga or really any other brand, but you kind of have to be careful with what you put inside of here. So with that sleek, minimalistic design, with that lower weight, you have to be a little bit more strategic about what you pack in here. So basically compartmentalizing and modularly padding your gear before putting it into this thin day pack is not only gonna make the carry feel better, but it's also gonna protect your gear a lot more, since in these thinner day packs, you don't have much padding to begin with. So definitely don't put any pokey objects in there. We'd recommend, if you wanna put a laptop in there, put it towards the back so it creates kind of a flat frame sheet-like carry, and we'd highly recommend putting that into a padded laptop sleeve, say something from Incase or another brand, just to kind of keep that laptop further protected. Same goes for a camera, and basically any other gear. We'd recommend, a more padded packing cube or field pocket, like GoRuck makes some field pockets if you want a Magpul DACA pouch for some other stuff. We've definitely reviewed all that on packhacker.com and are always looking for more padded packing cubes and pouches. So be sure to check that out if you want to load this thing up. At the time of this review, we've been testing the Setout Daypack for about a month around the city a couple times. We haven't taken it with a full-blown trip on us, but we do have to say, between the quality of the materials used and the way it's been put together and what we've observed so far, that this thing is going to continue to hold up for months and potentially years to come. So to wrap this thing up with some pros and cons, overall it's a comfortable carry with a slightly padded back. The front pocket is the perfect size for what it is, so definitely ideal for quick grab items. Between the beefier zippers and the straps, this thing feels like a real backpack without sacrificing its compressibility. Moving on to some of the cons, the sternum strap isn't necessarily properly anchored into the mesh straps. In the version we received from Tortuga, the Duraflex buckle on the sternum strap is actually flipped around and the logo was backwards. Ours is probably from the sample room, so hopefully that didn't make it into the production line. I gotta say, this is our favorite release from Tortuga to date. They've really nailed the use case with this pack, including the overall aesthetic and function. This is an excellent choice to use as a day pack after ditching your larger backpack or luggage at your hotel, Airbnb, or hostel. And as long as your more fragile items are in their own padded compartments, this will be a great lightweight pack to take around with you for day-to-day life on your trip. Thanks for taking a look at our review on the Tortuga Setout Packable Daypack. Be sure to head over to packhacker.com/newsletter, sign up for that newsletter, and never miss an update. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you in the next video. Look how big my hands are. This is how I see what kind of zipper is on a bag with these glasses. Who's calling me?